So, you're just minding your own business when your front door gets kicked clean off its hinges. And look who it is. Your sister, absolutely fuming because you dared to ghost her calls. She's throwing a full-blown toddler tantrum, punting your stuff across the room, all because her boy toy Song Fei needs a cash infusion. Apparently, you're now the official sponsor for his wannabe singing career. And you, having reached your absolute limit, are about to respond. You wind up and slap her so hard she crumples to the floor. Yeah, she's completely shell-shocked. See, you've never, ever laid a finger on her. You've always been the obedient doormat, but the guy she's looking at now, total stranger. You give her a look that could freeze fire and flat out tell her you're done listening. Then you whip out a credit card and flick it at her face. You announce that's every last cent of your parents' inheritance, and it's all hers. You say for their memory's sake, you're dropping the argument. But you make it crystal clear that from this moment forward, the brother-sister act is officially canceled. You're done. She just sits there, clutching her cheek, looking terrified. Now, before you judge, you gotta hear the backstory, because in your room, you're remembering the whole ugly truth, and it is a doozy. See, in your past life, you sacrificed everything to protect this girl, and what did you get for it? The ultimate betrayal. Picture this. You're on a futuristic battlefield, having slain every monster imaginable, when the final boss turns out to be your own blood. She stabs you right in the back. You're justifiably confused, asking why, and she has the nerve to call you an idiot. Get this, she never saw you as a brother. You were just the adopted kid. Then she looks over her shoulder at her real times love. Yep, Song Fei. His master plan was to use your sister to swipe a super powerful artifact from you. You know, right after you did all the grinding to get it, you can't even look at her, and she just mocks you for it. She's whining that you were too protective and annoying. That's when Song Fei gets bored and decides to just permanently delete you. Okay, quick lore drop. In the year 2025, going to sleep meant getting zapped into a virtual reality game. The major catch? Dying in-game shaves years off your actual lifespan. But it wasn't all bad news. It turned out any awesome skills and powers you farmed in the game, you could bring back to the real world. Your life was literally the currency. So you poured your heart and soul into grinding to the top and getting that divine item, which of course was the exact day your sister decided to pull the ultimate betrayal. Your last thought is, this is so rigged. If I only had one more try, and then your life was over. But it looks like the game masters took pity on you, because you wake up. You snatch your phone, see the date is 2025, and realize this is no dream. You've been rebooted 9 years in the past. As you prep to log back into the game, you feel this weird sense of freedom. You can't help but wonder how far you can climb without the dead weight of your sister dragging you down. This time, you promise yourself things will be different. You're going to use all your future knowledge to speedrun this thing, grabbing every power-up and opportunity you were forced to abandon. As for Xiao Yu, she's on her own now. Let's see how she handles the real world without her personal bodyguard and bank. No more protection. And as for Song Fi, the pretty boy puppet master who engineered your downfall, your face hardens just thinking about him. You make a solemn vow to personally send him to his maker. That manipulative pop idol is going to pay for everything. And boom, scene change. You're suddenly standing in a vast, otherworldly space. It's a massive hall filled with glowing mirrors giving off a seriously mystical vibe. You know this place. This is the class selection hall. So, you find yourself back in the selection hall, the place where noobs pick their destiny in this godforsaken game. In your past life, you spent literal hours here, drowning in analysis paralysis. But this ain't your first rodeo. You're strolling through the hall with the unearned confidence of a time traveler. This time, you know exactly what's on the menu. You remember picking the warrior class, all to play bodyguard for Xiao. Look, the tank build wasn't bad, but it's totally obsolete for your current mission. Without having to worry about babysitting anymore, you realize the new meta is all about speed and agility. With this brilliant insight in mind, you reach out, tap a mirror, and lock in the assassin class. The second you touch the glass, a massive blue light erupts from your hand, and a system pop-up materializes. The game announces that your little artifact, the Eye of Judgment, is already soulbound to you and is firing up immediately. Behind you, a giant, creepy eyeball phases into existence out of thin air with a gaze that looks like it knows your browser history. Another notification pops up showing you've got some unique attributes, the power of judgment and a passive power. The system basically tells you this is your cheat code, giving you advantages nobody else gets. The moment you spawn in, you'll automatically receive the S-tier profession and talents of the highest possible quality, putting you miles ahead of the regular schmucks. A smug grin spreads across your face as you admire the power of your new eyeball buddy. It dawns on you that the artifact's link survived your little trip back in time. If that's true, it means the thing is completely useless to anyone who tried to swipe it. like those backstabbers Si and Xiao Yu attempted in your other life. You even start to wonder if this eyeball is what hit the reset button, giving you this golden second chance. Suddenly, your train of thought is derailed as a dark, edgy aura starts seeping into your body, catching you totally off guard. The system pings with a congratulations and announces you've unlocked a secret profession. The class transfer kicks off, and that dark aura swallows you whole. When the emo fog clears, you're a changed man. Your black hair has gone full anime protagonist, white, and a strange new energy is practically buzzing off you. A nice little showcase of your new power level. The system announces you've become a mortal shadow, a secret high-level assassin class that makes your old warrior build look like a participation trophy. You already know that the shadow class grants ridiculous power right out of the gate, which is exactly why it's the class everyone drools over. You run a hand over your face, trying to decide if this is absurd luck or if fate is just playing favorites. See, when someone picks a profession, there's a lottery ticket's chance of rolling a secret class, but thanks to your authority of judgment ability, that tiny chance just became a 100% guarantee. The system then starts breaking down the perks granted by the Eye of Judgment. First up, the Authority of Judgment. The game's flavor text calls it the oldest and most busted authority in the whole universe, a power that literally spits on the rules of reality. But, plot twist, the system warns that without a divinity, you can't actually wield its full power actively. Even so, the passive buffs are always on, which already gives you a completely bonkers advantage. You're floored by this info dump. You remember that in your last playthrough, humanity didn't even discover the existence of the power of order until 7 years into the game. It was only when some super sweaty player managed to glitch out of the game and reach the land of order that he spilled the beans to everyone. So, for years, this power was totally off limits. But you've just figured out that you have the OG authority, the kind that just says nope to rules and order. This is the kind of power that can literally rewrite reality. And with your game face on, you get it revenge as small potatoes. You're playing for bigger stakes now. If you can just bust out of this divine deathmatch, hit the land of order, and snag a divinity, you'll be able to unlock 100% of your judgment authority. Right on cue, a system screen pops up, demanding you pick your in-game handle. You mull it over for a second and land on a name that just fits your new vibe. Shadow. Super edgy, you love it. I mean, your whole class is literally born from darkness, so it works. You hit confirm, the system gives you the thumbs up, and a spooky dark aura starts swirling around you. The system chimes in, welcome to the game world, aka the land forsaken by the gods. Then it gives you the whole spiel, a trashed world crawling with monsters whose only hobby is wrecking absolutely everything. And get this, the system warns you these things have zero chill and are laser focused on unaliving you. It also drops a little pro tip. Once you leave the newbie zone and start popping monsters, you'll earn tradable lifespan, which is, kind of a big deal. But here's the catch. Dying in-game is a massive L. You lose half your lifespan, both the stuff you can sell and the stuff that keeps you breathing. The stakes are sky high, but you're not even sweating. The scene glitches, and you materialize in the starting village, a quaint little place called Shelltown. The system pipes up, calling it a peace zone, a safe space where monsters can't get in and PvP is turned off. Your lifespan drain here is at its absolute minimum, a chill 1x rate. You scan the area, and it's pure chaos. All the other noobs, fresh off the abduction train, are totally freaking out. They're all huddled up, whispering, how did we even get here? Most of them just remember hitting the sack and then waking up in that creepy selection hall, completely clueless about the nightmare they just subscribed to. But you're locked in. You eye the mob, knowing this game's player count is already blowing up. You know the big shots from every country are about to log on, all of them wanting to run this show in their own special, annoying way. So if you want to stay on top, you've got to move. And just like that, you're striding through the city. And yeah, you're turning heads. Your slick outfit and that whole I bathe in shadows aura makes you stick out like a sore thumb. The crowd starts buzzing, trying to figure out your class. Then another player, also an assassin, spots the dagger at your waist but is absolutely floored by the glow-up difference. This guy has no special effects, while you look like the final boss of mystery. The contrast is so stark it's almost comical, and it just makes everyone even more nosy. As you approach the city gates, a squad of players stumbles back into town, their faces ghost white from sheer shock. Looks like dying isn't a game over, it's just to get teleported back to the safety of Shelltown. The crew is 3 dudes and a lady, and they are beyond tilted, ranting about some run-in they had with a level 1 tracker monster. One guy is whining that a single chomp from the thing took half his HP. Another chimes in that even with their whole party wailing on it, they barely scratched off a third of the monster's health bar. The third guy looks like his puppy just got run over, his ego completely shattered after getting half his life bar deleted. All eyes turn to the woman, who's clearly their leader, waiting for her to call the next play. But before she can rally the troops, her gaze locks right onto you. And hey, you're looking right back. You notice she's not like the others, she's rocking a longbow, not the dinky little starter bow every other archer gets. Your gamer senses start tingling immediately. You figure she has to have a secret class, which in this world is a super rare and seriously powerful advantage. Intrigued by your whole vibe and custom-looking gear, the woman strolls over with a business proposal. She hits you with the classic, "Let's party up." Her reasoning is that the monsters outside are a total meat grinder, way too tough to fight solo. She even tries to sell you on their experience, conveniently leaving out the part where they got absolutely wrecked. You, however, can't help but crack a tiny, sarcastic smirk. The only experience they have is in speed running back to the spawn point, you think. So you hit her with a polite but firm, "No thanks, I work alone." The woman looks genuinely shocked by your response, and her boy band of broken heroes starts whispering in the background. They're probably wondering what kind of arrogant punk you are, thinking you could solo a monster that just steamrolled all four of them. But despite her crew's trash talk, the leader seems to think there's more to you than meets the eye. Determined to figure out your secret, she does the gamer equivalent of a background check. She inspects your status window. Her eyes go wide when she reads the name Shadow. She lets out a little chuckle, thinking it's a bit edgy, but she can't shake the feeling that you're hiding some serious main character energy. Turning to her battered squad, she announces a new plan. They're going to follow you. Time to see what you're really made of. Maybe you've found some kind of cheat code and you're hoarding all the good loot for yourself, she figures. With a sly grin, she says she can't wait to see you either succeed spectacularly or fail epically. As you walk confidently towards the exit of Conscious City, you've officially got a fan club tailing you, trying to be all sneaky about it. They move like cartoon spies, calculating every step. Before the whole group ducks behind a single, very crowded tree, their eyes glued on you as you move away. From their hiding spot, the blonde leader starts venting to her team about how messed up and dangerous this whole isekai situation is. She admits she still has no clue why they got yeeted into this nightmare, but as a hardcore gamer, her first instinct was to immediately form a guild to take on the challenges. Even so, she never imagined the game would serve them such a massive slice of humble pie, and so brutally. The very first mob they found outside the city wiped the floor with them, effortlessly. It was a clear message. You are not prepared. She comes to the solid conclusion that a monster of that caliber is way too OP for any level 1 player. Meanwhile, her two sidekicks start gossiping about you. One of them, who's also an assassin, starts pointing out the massive gear gap between you two. While he's stuck with a starter pack dagger, you're wielding a short sword that just screams rare drop. The guy also clocks that your movement speed is off the charts, and your outfit looks like nothing you can buy in the item shop. It seems totally custom, radiating pure, don't mess with me energy. Hearing this, the blonde leader is now 100% certain that you are no ordinary player. She decides to keep stalking you quietly, hoping to leech some of your pro-gamer knowledge that might give her squad an edge. But just as she's about to signal her team to creep in a little closer, you suddenly stop dead in your tracks and glance back over your shoulder. The blonde girl freezes, her heart doing a drum solo, wondering if the jig is up to them. But before she can even blink, you hit him with a classic move, activating a skill, Latent Image. A dark aura explodes around you, and in a split second, you're gone, vanished. The whole crew just stands there, jaws on the floor, trying to process what in the world just happened. Their team's assassin is the first to get it, explaining that you must have used an invisibility skill, basic stealth 101. Even so, he has to admit that your version was way more high-spec than anything he's ever seen. The blonde, snapping out of her shock, gets all business and declares that following you is officially a terrible idea. She suggests they all scurry back to the safety of the city to regroup and find other ways to level up. She whines to the team that leaving the city is just too dangerous, especially since their health is already sliced in half after their one and only death. The guys immediately agree. They start fantasizing that the city must have some secret loot, like treasure chests or super helpful NPCs ready to spill all the secrets. They're desperately clinging to the hope that there's a way to get buff without actually having to, try. Meanwhile, the system gives you a handy breakdown of the skill you just used. Latent Image makes you totally invisible to everyone, friend or foe. While you're in ghost mode, your first attack after you reappear deals some seriously boosted damage. On top of that, your Master of Invisibility passive skill doubles the time you can stay invisible and jacks up your invisibility level by 1. You, yourself, are feeling pretty good about the perks of your Mortal Shadow class. Unlike those generic assassins who are easily detectable at level 1 even when they're invisible, your special abilities make sure that no one, not a player nor a monster, can even get a whiff of you this early in the game. With that satisfying thought, you cruise farther and farther away from the blonde's little fan club. You write them off as foolish and naive. You know the city offers zero shortcuts to power. It's just a temporary daycare in a world where the weak are on the menu. You stay focused on your mission until your invisibility finally wears off. You realize that even though the skill's duration is short, the cooldown timer started the second you hit the button. This means you can go ghost again in just a few seconds. A system screen flashes in front of you, displaying your current status. Code name, Shadow. Profession, Mortal Shadow. Both at a fresh level 1. You've got a non-negotiable lifetime of 75 years and a negotiable lifetime of 0 years. You already know that every player starts with 10 points in each attribute, and the bonus points are all based on their class. In your past life as a warrior, you only got a pathetic 3 bonus points in Strength and Constitution. But this time, the Mortal Shadow class throws bonuses at everything, with Agility getting a frankly absurd 8-point increase. Another system window pops up, telling you that you have 5 free attribute points to spend. You take a half second to think. You know that most amateurs dump everything into Strength or Spirit at the start, hoping to boost their physical or magic damage. However, you know this strategy is a total dead end. In a world where a single love tap from a monster can delete you, raw power is useless if you're not fast enough to dodge. With that in mind, you slam all 5 points straight into Agility, which now has a base of 10 plus a whopping 13 more from bonuses. The system logs it. You lock in the change and, yeah, you're feeling pretty smug about it. You know the golden rule of this starter zone. Agility is the key to survival. What's the point of being a beefcake if one hit sends you to the great beyond? But if you're quick on your feet, you can dance around these chumps and land hits without a scratch. Speaking of which, as you're strolling, your spidey senses start tingling. There's a weird noise up ahead. You hit the brakes, squinting into the gloom to see what's what. And there, lurking in the shadows, is one ugly customer. It's a level 1 crawler, and the system labels it normal. Seriously, with that twisted up body, this thing is anything but. The creepy noises it's making are setting a real horror movie vibe. But you're cool as a cucumber. You recognize this freak. It's the same party crasher that wiped out Blondie and her squad earlier. You can even see the battle scars they left on it. Looks like they put up a decent fight before they got deleted. The crawler finally spots you and charges, letting out a nasty growl. But you don't even flinch. You just sidestep the attack with a slick, precise move. See, you know the deal with these things. Crawlers are basically lifetime vampires. When they take out a player, they slurp up their remaining time to get a power-up. They get stronger, they evolve, the whole 9 yards. So those wounds just prove the girls' team only managed to buff their own killer. Their efforts just delay the inevitable. All right, playtime's over. You whip out your short sword, and a dark, menacing aura starts rolling off you. Your eyes flash a sinister red as you pop your Latin image ability. Now you see me. And in the blink of an eye, you're gone. The crawler is left looking totally baffled, like it just lost its car keys. It's whipping its head back and forth, searching for you, completely clueless that you've pulled a Batman and are now directly above it. You drop the invisibility as you plunge down, your sword whistling through the air with deadly accuracy. This slick little combo, using the attack bonus from your Vanishing Act, is designed to deliver a world of hurt. The system instantly agrees, flashing a confirmation of the hit. The damage counter pops up, an insane 174 points. The level 1 crawler collapses, dissolving into pure energy. You score 10 experience points, but even you are a little shocked. You take a half second to process just how much damage you dished out. You expected a good hit, but this was overkill. This was way beyond what you calculated. Then the system chimes in, helpfully explaining that your backstab ability did some heavy lifting. When you nail an enemy from behind, totally out of their line of sight, the damage is doubled. This officially turns you into a certified killing machine. As you let that sink in, a wave of memories from your past life washes over you. You remember the bad old days, back when you were a warrior, and a critical hit was a pathetic 40 points of damage. Taking down a single one of these things was a full-on boss battle that always left you exhausted and beat up. But back then, your whole game was about protecting Xiaoyu. You nerfed your own growth to keep her safe, handing over most of the rewards. As a result, you stayed weak. But now things are different. This time, you're fighting for you, and the dividends are already paying off. The system displays your winnings. The haul. 3 days of tradable lifetime and a mind-blowing 54 years and 155 days of the non-tradable kind. You crush the monster's energy core in your hand, feeling the power surge. But the loot drop isn't over yet. Another window appears. It announces that the Authority of Judgment has been activated. The system itself is basically giving you a round of applause for scoring the Infinite Evolution talent, a ridiculously rare and OP ability. This bad boy lets you gain evolution points just by taking down monsters solo, and you use those points to supercharge your skills. Plus, You'll get 5 freebie evolution points every 24 hours and snag 100% of the points from soloing bosses. And right now, you're sitting on a cool 5 points. As this sinks in, a crazy thought hits you. Could infinite evolution actually buff your skills? In your past life, that was a hard no. No matter what loot a monster dropped, it was always stuck at its base level. That was the rule. But infinite evolution just shattered that rulebook, completely ignoring the game's normal limits. The potential of this skill has you practically buzzing. Eager to test it, you pick 2 abilities for a glow-up, backstab, and your profession, deadly shadow. The second you lock it in, the system dings, announcing you've just torched 4 evolution points and the skill upgrades were a massive success. First up, your profession, deadly shadow, which just vaulted into the bronze category with some sick bonuses. Now you can stay invisible for 16 seconds, even while you're dishing out damage. The opening attack that breaks your stealth now hits for 80 instead of 60, and the cooldown drops from 28 to a slick 26 seconds. Next, your backstab skill gets a facelift. The passive damage when you're attacking from behind is now a sweet 15% instead of a measly 10. With these upgrades, you realize your Latin image skill now lasts a full 16 seconds, and since your invisibility mastery doubles that, you can now stay completely off the grid for 32 seconds, almost back to back. You think to yourself, if you had this before, you could have one-shotted that crawler even at max health. But your power trip gets cut short by some arrogant voice nearby. Someone's doubting that a skinny dude like you could ever take down a monster alone. You turn and see a couple, some gym bro trying to impress a girl. The girl, totally starstruck, calls him Genji and gushes that with a build like his, he could probably take on 10 monsters at once. Genji, of course, just eats it up, assuring her that as long as he's around, she's got nothing to worry about. As you watch this cringe fest, you realize something is very, very wrong. A shadow suddenly falls over the 2 lovebirds, and you spot a massive spider-like monster hiding in the tree right above them. Completely oblivious, Genji turns to you and makes a generous offer. He tells you to join their little party, and he'll do you the favor of protecting you. But you're already moving, recognizing the monster as a nurse. Without a second thought, you pop Latin image and just vanish. The girl sees you disappear and points to where you were. Genji just shrugs and laughs, completely convinced, saying the weakling must have gotten scared of his sheer manliness. But that ego trip doesn't last long. Before he can even finish flexing, the giant spider drops on him, followed by a smaller one. By the time Genji processes what's happening, it's way too late. The creatures turn him and his girlfriend into a modern art piece in a split second. The system pings, identifying the monsters, the nurse, a level 1 bronze tier boss and its little buddy, a level 1 common baby spider. Still invisible, you calmly size up the situation. The nurse is a serious threat with about 1,600 health points. Absolutely impossible for a rookie to handle, especially since it's got a whole swarm of spiderlings. Even so, you see this as the perfect chance to test your newly upgraded skills. Without hesitation, you move in on the nurse and launch your attack, breaking stealth to maximize the pain. Damage. Your blade finds its mark, and the nurse spider reels back, gushing. Something gross. The beast swings back with a vengeance, but you're way too slick for that, sliding right under its leg. Without even a second to spare, you pop your latent image skill and vanish from sight. A system notification flashes. 338 damage dealt. Not bad, but this thing's a tank. Another message tells you that you took 9 damage, basically a paper cut. But with your squishy 130 health, you know a face-to-face brawl is just a fancy way to commit suicide. Still, you gotta admit, dishing out over 300 damage in one hit feels pretty dang good. The nurse, clearly frustrated, throws a massive tantrum and starts smashing everything around it, just hoping to land a lucky shot. You watch carefully, knowing these things aren't just dumb they adapt and they fight back. This party is far from over, but you are more than ready to show off your new power level. You quickly realize the nurse is just flailing in every direction, which makes a direct attack a terrible idea. And with its little spider sidekick playing lookout, a frontal assault is completely off the table. So, you decide to get creative. Just as the nurse starts shooting webs to make a run for it, you yeet a rock at light speed. It smacks right into its soft belly, dealing a nasty 299 damage. Your whole strategy is basically to cheese the system, abusing that extra damage you get for attacking while invisible and using your upgraded skills to make random junk count as actual weapons. And since the game is coded to see rocks as a valid attack, every pebble you toss hits like a guided missile. You grab another one, knowing that as soon as your cooldown is up, you can do this all day, and boom, the system confirms another hit, another 279 damage. Using this brilliant rock-based strategy, you slowly chip away at the nurse's health. Before you know it, a server-wide announcement echoes across all of Shell City. The leaderboard is live, and some player named Shadow just beat the nurse and became the very first person to hit level 2. With your new alias broadcast to everyone, the city's ranking system officially kicks off. The other players are completely baffled. Most of them have been one-shotted by that nurse multiple times, so they figured it was impossible for a single player to even scratch it. Suddenly, rumors about the mysterious Shadow start spreading like wildfire. Some are screaming that you used a glitch, while others just stare at the ranking board, shocked to see only one name on it: yours. Amidst the sea of confused faces, that blonde girl and her team are there too. She's trying to make sense of how a level 1 player managed to solo a boss when her entire squad gets bullied by regular mobs. The doubt starts to set in. Could the whole system be bugged? Genji and his friend, the same duo who got wiped by the nurse earlier, are also in the crowd, looking completely lost. Then it clicks for Genji's friend. She remembers that guy they were just trashing. Could he times be Shadow? She thinks to herself. Meanwhile, your screen is lighting up with notifications confirming your win. You've scored 300 XP, hit level 2, and snagged 2 evolution points. You also unlocked the Shell City ranking and got 1 whole reputation point. The entire city just got a push notification about how awesome you are. As you watch the nurse's body dissolve into data, you notice that when the boss croaks, all the little minion spiders just run away. You kick yourself for not killing them first, losing out on a nice chunk of XP. Then another notification pops up with your loot: 46 tradable days of lifetime and a bronze level skill book. Sweet. Called the Hand of Avarice. You also snag a sweet little parting gift: the Dagger of Corruption, a bronze level toy that jacks up your attack by 135 points and gives you a +4 agility boost. Oh, and 2 more evolution points. Cha-ching. Naturally, you're curious about this Hand of Avarice book, so you give it a look-see, and the system lays it all out for you. Turns out, it's an assassin-exclusive skill, basically a license to pickpocket monster corpses for extra goodies with a 20% chance of hitting the jackpot. The only catch? You gotta be at least level 1. You're absolutely floored by your luck. A bronze-tier boss dropping a skill this juicy? It's practically unheard of. This little trick is going to be your personal loot pinata, seriously boosting your gear game. And then, a memory clicks into place: a player from your past life, the so-called God of Sin. The dude couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, but he became a legend in the game for one reason and one reason only: this exact skill. He got so big time he had his own entourage of bodyguards. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off in your head. If the Hand of Avarice has a base 20% chance, what happens when you throw your broken, infinite evolution talent into the mix? Theoretically, you could not only crank up that success rate, but maybe even the number of items you yoink. The very idea has you practically drooling with anticipation. And just like that, we cut to the real world, where the daily grind of school is in full swing. And look who it is: your sister, Xiaoyu. She's walking with a friend, who's currently trying to talk some sense into her, basically begging her to call you up and say she's sorry. Her friend's like, "Dude, we skipped a major exam yesterday just to go simp for Song Fei," reminding her that you must be absolutely livid. But Xiaoyu? Nah, she's not having it. She's convinced she's the victim here. In her mind, the real bad guy is you for trying to keep her away from her precious Song Fei. She actually says that if anyone should apologize, it's you. The nerve. Her friend, bless her heart, tries to reason with her, pointing out how you've always been an amazing brother, even admitting she's totally jealous of how much you care. But Xiaoyu just hits her with the ice-cold shutdown. "Stay out of it," she snaps. "He's not even my real brother." And then the kicker: my real time's brother is Song Fei. Yikes. As they finally get to school, they walk into total chaos in the classroom. A whole crowd of kids is huddled around a desk, whispering like crazy. They push through and see something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Their classmate, Jiang Hai, is just slumped over his desk, but his body is literally turning see-through. Full-blown panic starts to ripple through the room as a girl nervously asks, "What is going on?" Another kid pipes up, explaining that Jiang Hai just said he was going to catch some Z's, and then, poof, he started to fade. The whispers get louder as everyone realizes he's not an isolated case. Apparently, social media is blowing up, with reports of this happening all over the globe. People are just dozing off and going ghost, and nobody has a clue why. Totally freaked out, one girl whips out her phone to call her parents, and she's adamant that Xiaoyu needs to call you too. But Xiaoyu, still stewing in her teenage angst, flat out refuses. She actually says she hates you and won't even think about calling. She even takes it a step further, saying the world would be better off if you just dropped dead. Classy. Meanwhile, back in the game, a notification pops up. The system confirms it. Your evolution of the Hand of Avarice is a success. You've just upgraded that skill from a rusty bronze to a shiny gold, and the chance of swiping extra loot has doubled. jumping from 20% to a whopping 40%. And that's not all, the system also tells you that you've scored 2 more evolution points and, get this, 46 extra days of tradable lifespan. You can't help but be impressed with your own genius. On top of the bonus points, you now only need 1 more to evolve the Hand of Avarice times again asterisk. With just 3 points total, you can max this baby out and give yourself a 100% guaranteed chance of getting extra items every single time. The thought alone is enough to get your blood pumping. Your climb to the top is well underway, way faster than you had imagined. You pop your Latin image skill and poof, you're gone. Figuring that by now, the entire world must have caught on to the bizarre phenomenon of people taking a forever nap. Soon, a tidal wave of players will flood the game, and you need to stay way ahead of the curve. Your top priority is gearing up to secure that advantage. The system dings, confirming you've equipped the Dagger of Corruption, juicing your attack by 35 points and your agility by 4. Your betting people will soon figure out that skills and items from this game can be yanked right into the real world. And when that happens, you know the world is going to go completely off the rails. You recall that for this to work, 2 conditions have to be met: hitting level 10 and banking enough tradable lifespan. Peaking at your status, you realize that just farming these regular mobs isn't going to cut it. It's a painfully slow grind. To put the pedal to the metal, you need to hunt some much beefier bosses. Your train of thought gets completely derailed by the sound of a brawl in the distance. You follow the noise, creeping to a cliff's edge and peering down below. A whole squad of players is getting worked by a runner, a level 2 bronze class monster that looks like it's winning this fight without even breaking a sweat. A little smirk plays on your lips. Just when you were about to zone out, an opportunity literally falls into your lap. You focus in and recognize one of the chumps fighting down there, Wang Mang. You didn't expect to see him here, but it seems the rumors about this guy were true. They said that the second he logged in, he built a super team of 6 players, each one rocking a secret, overpowered class. In the heat of battle, Wang Mang activates Sacred Barrier, throwing up a golden shield to block the runner's relentless beatdown. You just watch in silence, noting that Wang Mang's secret class, Sacred Shield Warrior, gives him double the stats of a normal warrior, and also a handy-dandy invincibility skill. The camera pans to a red-haired mage who steps up and lobs a fireball. The spell connects, but it only deals a pathetic 70 damage. You instantly peg her as an Arcane Prophetess, another secret class that's supposed to double all magic damage. Next, you glance at the group's Archer and Priest. The Archer is using a longbow and belongs to the Sharp-Eyed Archer class, which, you guessed it, has double the normal stats and fires arrows like a machine gun. The Priest is an Oracle Priest and heals for twice the amount of a regular healbot. But despite the non-stop attacks from the Archer and the Mage, the runner is just too quick, dodging everything like it's a game. The fight's momentum suddenly shifts when the monster lands a massive blow on Wang Mang, shattering his pretty little barrier and sending him flying. As Wang Mang scrambles to get up, the Archer starts complaining that the runner's insane speed makes hitting it from a distance practically impossible. Even after getting a top-up from the Priest, Wang Mang is still all gung-ho. He yells at them to stick to the plan. He'll be the meat shield while the Priest plays whack-a-mole with his health bar, and eventually, they'll win. Looking down, you can't help but smirk at Wang Mang's optimism. His strategy might sound great on paper, but this is a live battlefield, buddy. The longer this fight drags on, the higher the chance of attracting some unwanted party crashers, and right on cue, dark figures start oozing out of the shadows. You narrow your eyes, seeing a brand new threat roll in. They're Contaminators, common level 2 monsters covered in a nasty dark slime that can attack from range. Wang Mang's face drops. As the sludgy monsters advance, one of Wang Mang's crewmates, so you watch as his partners charge forward, screaming like they're in a horror movie. The main tank swings this giant sword at a slime monster, but to everyone's utter shock, the hit barely tickles it, dealing a measly 33 damage. As you're watching this comedy of errors, your interest officially gets piqued. This crew has some weird, off-brand classes you've never even seen, but even with their special moves, they're getting absolutely steamrolled. The Contaminator spits back, launching a glob of goo that glues the players right to the ground. Wang Meng's buddies start freaking out, complaining about a smell that could curdle milk and realizing they're stuck. Meanwhile, another one of these goo balls is chasing their red-haired mage, who's running for her life, screaming for a hero. Welp, guess that's your cue. You decide it's time to intervene. 1 second you're on the cliff, the next you're just gone. A moment later, the monster that had been hot on the mage's heels suddenly finds its head is no longer attached to its body, deleted in a single, clean hit. Wang Meng and his squad just stand there, totally silent, their brains buffering as they try to figure out what just happened. A Contaminator one-shotted. The creature's body dissolves into a shower of light, and the mage awkwardly asks if they have a secret helper. Now free from the gunk, the swordsman is just completely stunned. He's thinking that even a puny level 1 crawler takes their whole team about 10 seconds of nonstop wailing to take down. And here, a level 2 contaminator got vaporized instantly. Before they can even process that, another contaminator drops dead from a single strike that clocks in at 441 damage. In a full-blown panic, the swordsman asks the mage, Lizzie, if she saw the attacker, but she just shakes her head, looking completely baffled. Wang Meng snaps out of it and tries to rally his team. He's shouting for everyone to stay focused, because even with their own personal ghost doing the heavy lifting, they've still got a boss to fight. Meanwhile, you, their invisible guardian angel of death, have found a comfy spot in a tree right behind Wang Meng. As the team turns back to the corridor, Wang Meng realizes that with the trash mobs gone, it's just them and the main event. And right on schedule, a system notification pops up for you, confirming you've offed 2 contaminators, netting you a cool 40 XP and 1 evolution point. On top of that, you scored a new skill book, Poison Dart, plus another 8 tradable days of lifespan. Looking at the screen, you start to consider your new toy. Poison Dart, a ranged attack that deals damage over time. That sounds like a perfect little something for an assassin's toolkit. You don't even think twice. You pump your evolution point into it on the spot. The skill immediately levels up from normal to silver, and the system details the juicy upgrades. Your Poison Dart can now be launched from 14 meters away, hitting for 120 damage right off the bat. Plus, it slaps the target with a poison that deals an extra 50% damage per second for 5 whole seconds. It doesn't stack, but the cooldown is only 5 seconds. You can't help but grin at your new power. Down below, Wang Meng's boss fight has turned into a complete nightmare. The corridor is way stronger and faster than they thought, and it's absolutely dominating them. When Wang Meng lifts his shield, the beast's claws just rip a new one in his side. Before he can even flinch, the creature attacks again, sinking its claws in even deeper, and flinging him to the ground like a ragdoll. The shield drops with a loud thud, and Wang Meng lets out a blood-curdling scream. His partners can only watch in horror. The priest rushes in to heal him, but it's no use. With the monster's claws literally still inside his body, the healing magic just fizzles out. Blood starts trickling from Wang Meng's mouth as he uses his last bit of strength to tell his team to run. But before they can even move, a projectile zips through the air, and you slam the monster square in the face, dishing out a whopping 845 damage and making the beast flinch like it just stepped on a Lego. You see, Wang Meng's team is just frozen, jaws on the floor, as the boss's health bar gets sliced in half in seconds. And buddy, you're not even done. That poison starts to cook. The monster starts leaking from everywhere, getting weaker by the second. It thrashes around in agony and finally barfs up Wang Meng. He collapses in a heap on the ground, looking pretty beat up. Meanwhile, the monster is screaming its head off as its health drains by 324 points per second until it finally face plants, dead. Right on cue, a system screen pops up just for you. Since your little stunt dealt over 90% of the damage, you, my friend, get all the loot. The system chimes in, announcing you've officially canceled the corridor boss's subscription to life. That's a cool 600 XP for you. And what's this? Another notification congratulating you on hitting level 13, handing you 2 evolution points. And for the grand prize, another 55 tradable days of lifespan. You look at the aftermath, feeling like the main character, because, well, you are. You honestly didn't expect that Poison Dart's damage over time to combo so perfectly with your other skills. Then, the big brain moment hits you. Using your invisibility, you could just stay hidden forever, spamming Poison Darts like you're trying to win a prize at the state fair. You figure with this setup, you're basically a god in the early and mid-game. Meanwhile, Wang Meng is still rebooting, watching the boss pixelate into a pile of items. The pain of being turned into a human shish kebab was so convincing, he's starting to wonder if this is even a game anymore. His existential crisis gets cut short when all that shiny loot just vanishes, snatched up in the blink of an eye. Yep, that was you. Moving so fast, you were just a blur of pure greed. As Wang Meng struggles back to his feet, he bows his head and thanks the mysterious shadow dweller who saved their butts, having absolutely no idea it's you. Your voice echoes out from the darkness, keeping up the whole mysterious hero vibe. You warn Wang Meng not to be so trusting, especially not in a place that's actively trying to murder you. Wang Meng gets the picture, nods, and thanks you for the solid advice. Then he introduces himself, name's Wang Meng. If you need anything, give me a shout. In the background, his surviving crew are having a tearful group hug. They're just thrilled to have avoided becoming Monster Chow. But back to you, you're standing in silence. You're just holding your new toys, already plotting your next move. You know Wang Meng isn't just some meathead. This guy has official government backing, which means he's loaded and knows people. This sparks a deliciously profitable idea in your head. You need a safe way to pawn off all the gear you're not going to use. You activate Hand of Avarice on the items, and a system notification pops up congratulating you on grabbing another 3 evolution points and 55 more days of tradable life. And as a bonus, you get a bronze tier item, the Runner's Greaves. The system gives you the stat sheet. These bad boys give you +9 physical defense, +5 to all resistances, and cut your ability cooldowns by 15%. Sweet. Glancing at your inventory, you see you've collected a ton of awesome stuff for various classes. You make a call. As soon as your bag is bursting at the seams, you're heading back to Shell City to trade all this junk for more precious life. A cold look crosses your face. You're thinking about how you're moving way faster this time around compared to your past life. A sinister little smile spreads across your face as you mutter that a certain Song Fei is about to have a very, very bad day. And scene, we cut to another group of players getting wrecked by contaminators and runners. Their situation is foobar, with monsters swarming them from every direction. One of the players looks up, seeing it all go down, was hopeless, screaming for his crew to make a run for it. But before they could even blink, they're flash frozen in fear by a giant, freaky-looking monster that just appears out of thin air, radiating some serious, you're all dead energy. The creature then starts attacking, literally yeeting parts of its own body like organic arrows, instantly deleting the players it hits. A moment later, you see the same players respawn back in Shell City, absolutely fuming and cursing the game's terrible balancing. You hear them complaining that the monsters are griefers, always ganging up on them in packs, and then bailing the second they get low on health, proving they've got some serious AI. One of them asks, totally freaked out, how are we even supposed to log out of this nightmare if we can't even hit level 3? Then another player starts dropping the harsh truth. The only way out is to reach level 3, meaning the grind is real and it needs to happen fast. So, of course, one of the players suggests they just form a bigger raid party, like 6 to 10 people, to make things easier. But another guy immediately shoots that idea down, saying he just watched a 10-man team get completely steamrolled by a massive mob. A third player then jumps into the conversation, warning them that a bigger party is just a dinner bell for the bosses. He mentions he just saw a raid of 40 players accidentally pull a world boss called the Occurs, which then one-shotted 30 of them with a single attack. Elsewhere, the blonde girl and her team pop back into Conch Town. Their faces a perfect mix of frustration and pure terror. If they don't make it to level 3, they're trapped in this digital hellscape forever. You see the blonde girl clenching her fists in total desperation. She's putting it all together since everyone logged in while sleeping. It's only your minds that are trapped here. And if you can't get out, your real-world bodies are basically going to away from keyboard to death. Just the thought of it sends a visible shiver down her spine. One of her teammates, an assassin, points out worriedly that they've already wiped 3 times and now have less than 10 years of in-game lifespan left. Before he can even finish whining, the blonde girl cuts him off, making it crystal clear that dying again is completely off the table. At that exact moment, the Conchtown leaderboard shimmers to life in the sky, everyone's jaws drop. And sitting right there at the top of the list is you, the mysterious Fun, already at level 3. You're followed by Wong Mam and Bala, who are still stuck at level 1. The blonde girl's brain goes into overdrive. How are you leveling up so ridiculously fast? You have to have a secret, some kind of cheat code they don't know about. With a new sense of determination, she makes a call. If you know the secret, they need to convince you to share it. Clenching her fists, she barks an order to her team. Spread the word, she says. If this Fun guy can help us reach level 3 and escape this game, I will personally pay him $10 million when we get back to the real world. She gives a cocky smile, like there's no way anyone would turn down an offer like that, and the scene cuts. Right back to you, where you're just effortlessly farming contaminators with your poison dart. As soon as another one drops, the system dings, notifying you that you've gained a cool 20 XP and 1 evolution point, and since you've been saving up, you immediately decide to evolve your Hand of Avarice. A confirmation screen pops up, sucking up 5 of your evolution points and resetting your balance to a big fat 0. Then, another screen shows the glorious upgrade. Your Hand of Avarice has jumped from Platinum all the way to Jade level. The system helpfully explains that your chance of getting extra loot just shot up from 110% to 160%. And on top of that, there's now a 20% chance for those extra items to be 1 whole tier rarer. Looking at the changes, you can't help but smirk. And that's when it hits you, this upgrade is an absolute game changer. A skill that can literally bump up the rarity of your loot. You've just struck digital gold. But just as you're daydreaming about all the legendary gear, a bright light in the distance completely hijacks your attention. A freaky, massive figure materializes, and yup, it's the same party crasher that wiped a whole squad of players off the map earlier. You recognize it instantly when the system helpfully labels it a bronze level boss. The creature's hunched over, slurping up blue energy like it's a forbidden smoothie. You quickly piece it together, those blue wisps are the leftover data of deleted players. This monster is in the middle of a power-up sequence, feeding on their energy to evolve into a silver-level boss. Judging by the light show, you figure it's already snacked on about 40 poor souls. You pop open your inventory to prep for the fight of your life, but there's just one tiny problem. Your bags are completely full. Even if you solo this behemoth, you've got zero room for the epic loot it's going to drop. This situation requires a bit more finesse. After a moment, you drop a pin on your map. This monster's glow-up is going to take a while, giving you the perfect window to make a quick trip. The plan: warp back to the city, have a massive garage sale, and then hustle back for the main event. With your strategy locked in, you activate latent image, and just like that, you melt into the shadows. Cue a scene change to Conch City, where the general player base is in an uproar over a seriously bold announcement. Some rich blonde girl is offering a cool 10 million to the #1 ranked player just to be her personal level-up buddy. In the middle of all this commotion, a girl starts bawling her eyes out, wailing that normal players like her have zero chance of ever escaping this game. Her sob story gets cut short when someone yanks her out of the crowd, a stark reminder of just how messed up things are getting. But amidst all the whispers and high-strung energy, the whole atmosphere does a 180. An aura of insane power floods the area, and every single head turns to the newcomer. It's you. Your very presence radiates so much power that it silences the entire crowd. Without saying a word, you pull up your system window and tap the cell function. Instantly, a gigantic notification flashes to life above your head, announcing a pop-up shop for top-tier equipment and skills. The message also drops a bombshell. The shop's only open for 10 minutes, kicking off a mad scramble. You, however, are chilling calmly as you display a whole collection of glistening gear you've picked up. The players absolutely lose their minds. The square erupts with shouts of confusion and pure shock. Some are wondering how you even got there, while others can't believe their eyes. I mean, you're selling 2 entire sets of bronze-level equipment and a ton of other stuff. Then it clicks into place when they see your player name. Shadow, the #1 player. But even with your celebrity status, nobody can get a look at your face thanks to that handy-dandy appearance concealment function. One player astutely points out that since in-game models are one-to-one with real life, you must be hiding your identity for a very good reason. As the rumors start to fly, a woman steps forward, and from her getup, it's obvious she's a mage. She cuts right to the chase and asks for the price on the Cone of Ice spell. You reply without missing a beat: 100 days of tradable lifespan. In your head, you immediately identify her. Grey Rosie, ranked 11th in the city. You also notice her face is hidden, too. Grey Rosie thinks it over, then tries to haggle, saying 100 days is a bit steep and asking if you'll cut her a deal. But you're not budging. You break it down for her. Cone of Ice is a non-negotiable skill for mages this early in the game because it lets you farm monsters at lightning speed. Considering its value, 100 days is a steal price, so she hits you with the ultimate Hail Mary. Will you take real cash? But you're not running a pawn shop, so that's a hard no. You tell her if she's got money, she should go buy lifespan from some other poor soul and then come back to you. After a moment of consideration, Grey Rosie turns to her 2 sidekicks for a team huddle. They're immediately on board, saying they've only hit level 2 this fast because of her brilliant leadership. One of them even pipes up that with Cone of Ice, the crew would reach level 3 way faster, which means they can all punch their ticket back to reality sooner. Without another second of hesitation, Grey Rosie tells them to wire her all their life juice stat, promising to pay them back in cold, hard cash once they're out of this digital hellscape. She spins back around to you, transfers the 100 days, and locks in her purchase of the spell. Your brain immediately kicks into overdrive, analyzing the play. You calculate that for a level 2 squad to have gotten this far, they must have smoked 30 or 40 crawlers, which means, yup, they had over 100 days of life to pool together. The system dings, confirming the sale of the Cone of Ice, and ka-ching. You've gained 100 days, bringing your grand total to a cushy 368. Just as Grey Rosie is about to bounce, a familiar face materializes. Oh, look who it is. It's the blonde girl from before, and she's strutting towards you with an ego the size of Texas. With an air of absolute superiority, she announces she's finally found you and, with a smirk that could curdle milk, offers you an opportunity. If you help power level her to level 3, she'll drop a cool $10 million in your lap when you're back in the real world. The surrounding players absolutely lose their minds, whispering that the rumors were legit. Scoring 10 million bucks, this easily sounds like a fever dream. She keeps on boasting, saying her daddy is the president of Young Industries, so money is basically just a high score for her. You, however, are completely unmoved. You size up the situation and the name clicks into place. Youngly. And oh boy, do you remember her from your past life? future leader of a notorious criminal organization that eventually got dismantled by the feds. Reports from back then detailed her whole psycho playbook. She would lure people in with promises of cash for their lifespan, only to later kidnap and turn them into her personal slaves. And anyone who fought back, let's just say they met a very messy end in the real world. So, with a face carved from ice, you flat out reject her offer and tell her to get lost. Young Lee just freezes, her brain completely short-circuiting. She cannot process the sheer audacity of someone turning her down. Frustrated, she tries to warn you that even though you're a big shot in here, nobody really gets what's happening, and if you just join her, you could be living a life of pure luxury. But you're not buying it for a second. You just tell her that if she's not here to buy something, she needs to leave. You know the truth, after all. Her precious money is about to be worth less than toilet paper. The only currency that's going to matter is tradable lifespan. Young Lee's face twists into a mask of pure rage. She explodes, calling you every ungrateful name in the book and then some, threatening that if you were in the real world, she would have already had you dealt with. But you have exactly zero patience for her empty threats. Your gaze goes dark, and your voice drops to a chilling whisper, warning her that if one more word comes out of her mouth, you will personally guarantee she loses every last day of her life. To make the threat crystal clear, you unleash this heavy, terrifying aura that sends a literal chill down everyone's spine. Young Lee and her little posse immediately start backpedaling, all their fake courage vanishing as they scramble to get the hell away from you. With that drama settled, you get right back to business. The system chimes in with another confirmation. A tunic just sold for an additional 19 days. Lifespan, leaving your grand total at a cool 546 days. Meanwhile, the players who bought from you are absolutely geeking out over their new overpowered toys. But you're not sticking around for the thank you notes. With everything sold off, it's time to go have a little chat with that boss. You pop your latent image skill, and just like that, you're gone. As you slip away, you can't help but think about how hilariously clueless these other players are. Not a single one of them knows that your little tradable lifespan business has another secret function, one that's about to flip the entire server on its head. Nobody has a clue that this game is about to turn their whole world upside down, as the crowd just stares at the empty air where you used to be. Completely dumbfounded, you're already contemplating the grim reality. Everything, the rich and powerful of the old world, but own is about to become totally worthless. In the new era that's loading in, only one thing is going to matter: raw power. And anyone who doesn't get with that program is about to get left in the dust. The scene snaps over to Jung Lee and her crew, who look like they just ran a marathon. She is absolutely seething, ranting about how Shadow not only shot down her offer, but had the nerve to threaten her. She swears that as soon as she's back in the real world, she's going to find him and make him permanently log off. Just then, a guy strolls up and introduces himself. Name's Miley Xian, or Lao, Mao for short. He says he's a level 2 and knows a few dirty little tricks for leveling up. He then slides in with a question. Can he take that $5 million offer that Shadow so rudely refused? The one to help power level her team to level 3, since he's not as high spec. He'll happily take half the cash. A suspicious Jung Lee asks what these so-called tricks are. Lao explains that the secret to a speed run is to dump all 5 of your attribute points straight into agility. That way, your run speed is just a tiny bit faster than the monsters, letting you kite them for days without getting your face smashed in. Jung Lee's eyes go wide. You can see the gears turning as she realizes how dumb she was for going full-on strength build. She accepts Lao's deal right there on the spot. He agrees, adding that this Shadow guy must be a special kind of crazy to turn down that much money. And we cut back to you. Fun. You just arrived at the coordinates you marked on the map. Still in stealth mode, you spot your target, and it looks like the cursed one has already had a glow-up. It's evolved to the silver level. But judging by the ominous gray mist swirling around it, the transformation is still in progress. You do some quick math and figure the full evolution to gold tier will take about 7 or 8 hours. And since you're not about to wait around, you open with a poisoned dart. The surprise attack lands a critical hit for 659 damage. The poison immediately starts, melting its health for 219 points per second. You move in, knowing a silver boss has 2 or 3 times the health of a Bronze League scrub. But suddenly, the monster starts gathering a ridiculous amount of energy in its hands. You realize you need to land another 2 or 3 darts, like yesterday. But the monster attacks first, unleashing a blast that vaporizes everything around it. You quickly recap that this cursed one is a magic-type boss, specializing in area of effect attacks that hit like a freight train. You recall that the instant you threw that dart, you were already diving for cover, barely escaping the blast radius. Still invisible, you know that if you had taken that hit head-on with your current health and defense, you'd be nothing more than a respawn timer. The battle rages on. The monster charges up another big attack, but you're keeping it cool, staying mobile, and watching your skill cooldowns like a hawk. The plan couldn't be simpler. Wait for an opening, stick it with the pointy end, and vanish before the counterattack. A few moments later, the monster stumbles. It's the perfect window of opportunity. You dash in and hit it with another poisoned dart, dealing another 659 damage and resetting that sweet, sweet poison timer. You see the boss getting cold feet, trying to make a run for it. But you're not having any of that. You lock onto it with a gaze that could freeze hell over. Its escape attempt is just pathetic, really. In a blink and you'll miss it flash, you vanish, only to reappear directly above the creature's dome, pile driving it straight into the dirt. The system confirms your victory. You just smoked the cursed one, a certified silver-level boss. Notifications absolutely explode on your screen. 1,800 XP, blasting you from level 3 straight to 5. You also snag 4 evolution points and a cool 124 days of tradable lifetime. You can't help but crack a smile. Taking out one boss just shot you up 2 whole levels and even tossed in some bonus evolution points. As the monster's corpse pixelates into a pile of loot, you activate that slick, evolved Hand of Greed. The system dings with a success message. And oh boy, the rewards just got way sweeter. Another 4 evolution points and another 124 days of lifetime, literally doubling your initial haul. You smirk. Not bad at all. In total, this one silver boss coughed up 12 evolution points and a whopping 372 days of lifetime. But wait, there's more. The bonus effect on your Hand of Greed kicks in, upgrading one of the silver items to pure gold, a golden freaking tier. You think to yourself, okay, no wonder this skill is J level. You glance down at the items on the ground. You're looking at about 7 or 8 pieces of sweet gear, but your backpack only has 10 measly empty slots. You let out a sigh. Having to trek back to the city every time you gank a boss is such a massive waste of time. The absolute dream would have been if this thing had dropped a storage ring or something. But just as you're about to inspect your shiny new toys, the scene hard cuts back to the city. And there's Lizzie, the mage from Wong M's crew, popping back into existence in a flash of light, looking super relieved. The rest of her squad materializes right after, all of them showering Wong M with thanks. They're all like, dude, without your leadership, we never would have hit level 3 and made it back in one piece. But Wong M, ever the humble leader, just brushes it off, saying it was a total team effort. Lizzie, on the other hand, is totally bummed she couldn't friend request that awesome guy, yeah, that's you, during the fight. She figures it might have been because she was covered head to toe in mud at the time. A teammate starts ribbing her, saying that now with her clean clothes, she looks amazing, and that the mystery player you again wouldn't dare reject her this time. Right as they're chatting, a massive system announcement booms across the city. The rankings have been updated. A player named Shadow has just hit level 5. The news sends a shockwave through the crowd. Someone yells out in total disbelief, asking how the heck Shadow jumped from level 3 to 5 that fast. There's only one possible explanation. He must have soloed a seriously powerful boss. Another player chimes in, swearing he saw Shadow hawking items in the square just 10 minutes ago. Amidst all the chaos and desperation, some guy pipes up, half joking, half dead serious, that his younger sister just turned 18 and hey, if Shadow wanted to take a liking to her, it would be a huge win for their family. His buddies immediately shut him down, reminding him that Shadow is the same dude who literally laughed off a $10 million offer. There is zero chance he's going to be interested in some random marriage proposal. Meanwhile, back with Wong M's crew, a little panic starts to set in. They had barely finished celebrating hitting level 3, and this Shadow guy is already light years ahead. But Wong M stays cool as a cucumber, telling them to just forget about it for now. The most important thing is to log out, get back to the real world, and warn their families and friends about how dangerous this game really is. As their avatars start to fade out, the system confirms their logout. Wong M's last words hit with a sudden seriousness. If the world is really about to fall apart, the absolute least we can do is prepare the people we love. And boom, you're back in the real world. Your boy Wong's eyes snap open just as someone yells, "Captain!" So, get this, he wasn't just some gamer. Wong Meng is a legit police officer, and his colleagues are swarming him, totally freaked out. One of them explains they were seriously worried because while he was knocked out, Wong Meng's body started fading like a cheap hologram. That's when the terrifying truth sinks in. If you die in the game, you don't just get a game over screen, you get straight up deleted from reality. But hey, no time for an existential crisis. Wong Meng scrambles to his feet and orders everyone to assemble. Something serious has happened, he says, in the understatement of the century. The scene zips over to a police station where some bigwig is grilling him. You hear the boss summarizing Wong Meng's report. So Wong's team had a massive advantage, with everyone rocking a secret profession. Even with all that, they nearly got wiped by a single monster, and were only bailed out at the very last second by an unknown player named Shadow. Wong Meng's like, yep, That's the tea, and then starts gushing about Shadow's ridiculous power leveling. He explains that when Shadow played hero, he was only at level 3. But by the time Wong Meng's crew finally grinded their way to level 3, Shadow was already sitting pretty at level 5, a 2-level jump nobody had ever pulled off before. This little tidbit has the top brass looking seriously concerned. One of them finally asks the million-dollar question, "Are you saying the Shadow Kid is the strongest player in the world right now? How the heck did he level up that fast?" Theories start flying, and Wong Meng offers his best guess. Maybe he took down a mega boss or pulled off some legendary quest. Then another official, playing detective, flags a weird detail in the report. Shadow was already level 3 when he saved them. If that's the case, why didn't he log out with the rest of the survivors? Could it be this guy has no family or friends in the real world? No reason to come back. Wong Meng admits he knows absolutely nothing about the guy. Just then, a female officer jumps in with a theory straight out of a web novel. She suggests Shadow might be a transmigrator. She breaks it down, saying these are people who just appear from nowhere, get crazy strong, super fast, and are usually orphans, which would totally explain why he's in no rush to return. Her fan theory drops like a lead balloon, and realizing she said the quiet part out loud, she turns beet red. The head honcho, completely unamused, calls her out by name, Amy, and tells her to quit with the comic book plots when things are this serious. He shuts her down, saying she's been reading way too many novels, and brings it back to the main point with some seriously grim intel. According to classified reports, researchers have been looking into something pretty disturbing. A lot of elderly people have been mysteriously dying in their sleep. When they cross-referenced that with data from the game, the answer was pure nightmare fuel. The people who died in their sleep had also died multiple times in the game. This was it, the final confirmation. If your HP hits 0 in the game, you don't just die there, you die for real. One of the officers mutters that the game is an anomaly, something they can't possibly understand. The chief agrees, suggesting it might be an invasion by beings from other dimensions. The idea sucks all the air out of the room. Not wasting a second, the chief plows ahead to the urgent business, announcing the government is issuing an emergency order. Every single officer has to form a team, dive into the game, and figure this out. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to hoover up every last byte of data. The chief lays it out. This ain't just a local cop problem. The whole government is in full-blown panic mode. They're scrambling the jets, metaphorically speaking. You're in a global arms race, but the arms are XP and loot drops. And if you fall behind in this race, you basically become the world's designated doormat. And with that cheery thought, the chief drops the bombshell. Amy, you're the new captain of the creatively named Team 1. You see her accept without even blinking. Wong M gets the VP slot, and boom, you two are now on a fantasy football-style draft to pick your own squad. Wong M is on board, fully grasping the don't mess this up vibe. Then, the chief pivots back to the main event. The mystery man himself, Shadow. Turns out, the official report basically says he's kinda chill. So the chief issues a direct order, and it's a weird one. You and Wong Meng are now on a mission to become Shadow's new best friends. Your goal, figure out his deal and try to get him to join your server. The chief explains his 5D chess move for putting you, Amy, in charge. All those hours you spent grinding in RPGs and reading fantasy novels? Yeah, that's your resume now. You're basically the designated nerd to analyze this living, breathing video game protagonist. The chief is practically begging you at this point to convince Shadow to join Team Government. Meanwhile, the rest of the force gets the glamorous job of crowd control. You know, just prevent city-wide panic. No biggie. And scene. The meeting's over, the sun sets dramatically, and everyone braces for the coming storm. So, you get a hard cut to the next day, and we're in a high school. You find Xiao zoned out at her desk, completely lost in her own little world. While she's deep in thought, everyone else is buzzing like they just chugged 5 energy drinks, all talking about the world-changing event. You see a little group huddled up. They're swapping intel. Turns out Jiang Hai, that kid who went MIA, actually managed to hit level 3 and log out. He made it out alive and dropped some game-changing alpha. A girl explains his big reveal. If a bunch of you from the same area pass out at the same time, you all spawn in the exact same starting city. This little tidbit of news has the whole classroom a mix of hyped and terrified. You've got one girl totally freaking out. She's talking about needing to go home and drag her parents into the game with her. Her logic? They're total noobs who don't know a health potion from a hole in the ground, and she's convinced they'll get ganked on day 1. But then you hear some dude argue back, saying it's a terrible idea to bring the old folks in yet. His plan is to power level first. You know, get swollen game, then you can carry your family through the dungeons. And through all this, Xiao is just glaring at her phone, looking increasingly ticked off. She's deep in her feelings, wondering why her brother has completely ghosted her when You know, the world literally changed overnight. You'd think a simple okay, text would be in order, but nope, radio silence. He hasn't even checked if she's alive, let alone apologize for that little slapsident. And you know, that is so not his brand. Usually after a fight, he's the first one to make up. But today, just a whole lot of nothing. She's thinking, my own parents never touched me. And the drama is palpable. But her brother? He went there. You can practically see the pout as she internally monologues that she only skipped class to see the one and only Song Fei. Like, was it really a capital offense? She crosses her arms, the universal sign for I'm not over this. Her terms for forgiveness? He has to call and grovel with at least 1,000 apologies. But just as quickly, her rage meter drains and gets replaced by pure fangirl energy. Because now she's thinking about Song Fei. Good thing I went, she muses, because once this game apocalypse fully kicks in, who knows if I'll ever get to see another concert. And just like that, you see this goofy, starstruck look plastered on her face as she flashes back to last night. There he is, a perfect image of Song Fei on stage, and she lets out a dreamy sigh. He was just so perfect. And then, bam, reality check. So, you know how it is, if everyone's diving into a game by literally sleeping, you just know your favorite music idol is in there too. You can practically see her blushing, just fantasizing about that epic in-game meet-cute. Could this be her big chance? Is this fate finally shipping her with her one true love? Her heart's practically doing a drum solo at the thought, but as she gets ready to log in, a light bulb goes off. That guy, Song Fei, hit level 13 ridiculously fast, meaning the dude is basically a walking game guide. To make a good impression, you know she needs the inside scoop. So, you watch as she slides into Song Fei's DMs, asking for any pro tips before she takes the plunge. And cut to Song Fei, surrounded by his posse, acting like the king of the school. When he gets that message, you see this sly, self-satisfied smirk just creep across his face. You can almost hear his inner monologue. No way. A goddess like Xiao is coming to times me times for advice? He sees this as his golden ticket, a sign from the gaming gods themselves. This is it. This is his moment. Wasting zero time, Song Fei hits her back, dripping with confidence, telling her she came to the absolute right person. And then he drops the secret. He tells her to dump all her starting attribute points into agility, claiming otherwise she'll be monster food in 5 seconds flat. You see her hesitate, asking if that's really the move for a mage class, and of course, Song Fei doubles down. He feeds her this line about how agility boosts a mage's spellcasting speed, which is, like, asterisk super times critical at the beginning. Still a little skeptical, you see Xiao push back, asking what happens if she still can't win, even with all that speed. But Song Fei's got an answer for everything. He reassures her, saying the moment anyone in their city hits level 5, the teleportation portal goes live, connecting all the newbie towns. When that happens, he promises he'll roll up with a party to help her power level, swearing he'll find her. And hearing this, you see Xiao's face light up. Lying in bed, she cracks a little smile, thinking to herself what a useful idiot Song Fei is. Just like that, she secured her own personal carry for the game. As she's drifting off, another brilliant, evil thought pops into her head. This is perfect. She's going to get into the game way before her brother, level up like crazy, and get totally stacked. And when he finally logs on, you know she's going to make him suffer. No help, no carry, nothing. He's on his own. Totally satisfied with her devious plan, she finally falls asleep, hyped for the adventure ahead. Meanwhile, you cut back to the game, where fun is checking out the boss drop. And there, among all the loot, a gleaming ring just screams, "Pick me." When you see him grab it, the system dings. He's just acquired the Cursed Ring, a certified gold-tier item. The system then lays out the juicy details. It's usable by all classes. It grants a sweet +8 to all attributes. It boosts your dark damage resistance by 26%, and it improves weak point damage by a factor of 1.5. The only requirement? You gotta be at least level 4 to rock this bad boy. You watch him do the mental math, realizing that a 32-point bonus to his stats is like getting a free 3-level boost. Yeah, you could say the ring is a pretty epic find, but before he can even process his luck, another notification flashes on screen. He's just unlocked a brand new skill, Instant Shadow Strike, a silver tier ability. The system breaks it down. The skill fires off multiple slashes in a straight line with a 15-meter range and, get this, makes you totally invincible for 5 seconds. You instantly recognize it as a killer area of effect attack. Not wasting a single second, he learns the skill, and since he's still got evolution points to burn, he decides to give Hand of Avarice a serious glow-up. The system eats 8 points and upgrades the skill from Jade tier straight to Diamond tier. The effects? Absolutely bonkers. Your chance to snag extra items just shot up to 220%, and the odds of those items getting a rarity glow-up hit a solid 40%. You do some quick mental math and realize you're now guaranteed at least 2 extra items per baddie, making every takedown worth 3 times the loot. And since you're not about to let any points go to waste, you dump 3 levels into Instant Shadow Strike, rocketing it straight from Silver to Platinum tier. The upgrades are insane. Your range now stretches to 21 meters. You get a whole 7 seconds of Can't Touch This invincibility, and the number of slashes jumps from a measly 3 to a glorious 5. But the real game changer is the damage, which just doubled to a clean 200 per hit. You sift through the rest of the loot, mostly junk, but then one shiny thing catches your eye, a Silver tier warrior skill book. You look at this bad boy and practically see the lifespan counter ticking up. Selling this could score you a serious extension on life. Just as you're daydreaming about immortality, a sound yanks you back to reality. You whip around to find 3 enormous creatures charging right at you. You ID them instantly. Limb crawlers, some seriously grotesque level 4 monsters. But are you scared? Please. You see this as the perfect field test for your new and improved powers. Not wasting a single moment, you pop your instant Dark Slash. In what feels like less than a second, you unleash a blinding series of high-speed attacks and just effortlessly delete the creatures from existence. The crawlers get turned into monster confetti before they even knew what hit them. Once the particle effects fade, a system notification congratulates you on the win, tossing you 80 XP and another 5 days of tradable lifespan. After that little light show, a dark, powerful aura is practically rolling off of you. You take a calm moment to appreciate your newfound power, realizing you can now uninstall your enemies way faster. A quick check shows you're sitting on 618 days of life, but to bring your cool stuff into the real world, you need to hit that magic number of 900 days. And just like that, a master plan starts forming in your head. First up, sell all the valuable gear cluttering up your inventory. If the market's hot, you'll hit your lifespan goal way ahead of schedule. And once you ding level 10, you can finally start exporting your in-game swag to the real world. The scene flashes forward, and you're back in the city, completely invisible thanks to your stealth skill. While you're ghosting around, you pick up on a nearby conversation. Some dude is congratulating a woman on hitting level 3, then not so subtly reminds her about a promise. You sneak a closer look, and what do you know? It's Young Lee and Lao Mao. You quickly piece together their whole sketchy deal. Lao Mao power leveled her to level 3 so she could log out for good in exchange for a whopping 5 million. Now that the job's done, he wants his payday. Young Lee tells him to chill, acting all offended. Like, do you doubt my father's company? Apparently, Jung Industries has the cash. She lays out the plan. She'll log out and wire him the money in the real world. Before bouncing, she gives Lao Mao her digits and tells him to call her the second he gets out, too. Then, she sweetens the pot with another offer. She wants to buy up all his tradable lifespan, offering a cool 10,000 for every single day. Lao Mao practically drools, accepting on the spot, and then has the nerve to get all smug, talking trash about how dumb you were to refuse her offer, completely clueless that you're standing right there, listening to his every word. You can practically hear the gears turning in Lao Mao's head as he dismisses the whole lifespan concept as total nonsense. To him, the only smart play is turning in-game assets into real-world cash, and he's busy congratulating himself for being such a business genius. Cut to you, standing like a tech wizard in front of the city's brand new teleportation portal. You give it a little tap, and boom, the whole thing lights up like a blue neon sign. A pop-up window splashes across your screen, giving you a digital pat on the back for firing up the Conch City Express and tossing you a whole 1 reputation point. The fine print says you get 1 free ride a day, but after that, every trip starts chipping away at your precious lifespan. But here's the kicker. Right now, it's about as useful as a screen door on a submarine since no other portal has been activated yet. So, you take a second to process this, right? Teleporters need a destination. You need some other player in another city to hit level 5 and flip the switch on their end. And then it hits you. Your old rival, Songfei, was posted up in Firefly City. To keep tabs on the situation, you rig up a little digital tripwire, an alert that'll ping you the second someone gets that portal glowing. You're not just waiting around, you're setting the stage. The moment that thing lights up, you'll be ready to go say hello to Songfei. As you walk through the city, your mind is already locked on the prize. For most players, just hopping between cities would be a massive achievement, but you know that's just the tutorial. The real challenge hasn't even started. The real goal is to grind to level 10, bust into the realm abandoned by the gods, and finally activate your authority. Only then does the real times game begin. Shortly after, you decide to play shopkeeper, and a server-wide announcement blasts out that you're selling premium items and skills, but with a catch. The shop is only open for 10 seconds. First come, first served. The response is, well, immediate. Players absolutely lose their minds and stampede toward you, calling you a pro-gamer god. Some are shouting they've been waiting for this, even hoarding their lifespan just to blow it all at your pop-up shop. One guy proudly yells he's got 150 days saved up. Another recalls that the last time you did this, you sold that cone of ice spell, which is what rocketed Grey Rosie to second place on the leaderboards. Then, another player with eagle eyes spots a silver-level skill book called Battle Roar for Warriors and insta-buys it. The system dings, confirming the sale for a cool 300 days of tradable lifetime. The other players gasp at the price tag, but some other guy calls them all fools, explaining that with a skill like that, a warrior could easily earn back those 300 days in less than 2 days of hunting. The moment that logic bomb drops, the rest of the mob desperately shoves forward to grab whatever's left. In a flash, everything is gone. You glance at your system window and check the profits. In just 1 minute, you've raked in 650 days of lifetime, pushing your total to a whopping 2,174 days, but somehow, you're still not satisfied. A few unlucky players are whining about missing out, begging to know if you'll open up shop again. You casually confirm you will. But then, a female player's voice cuts through the noise. She says she has a treasure and wants to make a deal. When you turn around, you actually recognize her. She's one of Wong Mong's crew. The system identifies the item, a spatial ring with 12 inventory slots. And get this, it occupies neither a backpack nor an equipment slot. You're legitimately surprised because you know its insane value. This is a super-duper rare storage item. You know the drop chance for a ring like that is practically non-existent. For this girl to get one so early in the game is just absurdly lucky. You ask for her price, playing it cool, even though you know exactly what it's worth. In your past life, a similar ring sold for 3,600 days of lifetime. But instead of demanding a fortune, the girl just smiles and throws you a total curveball. She doesn't want your lifespan. Instead, she asks you to add her as a friend and form a party to go kill a boss. You agree so fast it probably gives her whiplash, and the system immediately confirms the deal. Ding. You've got a new friend. Black Plun officially accepts your request. As you're both strolling out of the city, you turn to her, all casual, and ask about the boss situation. She spills the beans. It's a gold-level threat, the real deal. The catch? She was so far away she couldn't even read its name tag. Talk about keeping a safe distance. She tells you it's hanging out on some decrepit old boat in the middle of a swamp. Hearing this, your eyes practically pop out of your head. Hold on a minute. Could it be the Golden Ghost ship? Your brain kicks into overdrive. You remember the legends? This is a super rare boss, the kind of thing with a spawn chance of basically never. It's so minimal that in your past life, anytime it appeared, massive guilds would launch full-scale wars just to get a piece of the epic loot it dropped. From her description, you deduce this version is a baby, probably around level 5, which makes taking it down way more manageable. Even so, you can't help but wonder how she just stumbled upon a mythical boss this close to a starting city. Your inner detective starts connecting the dots. You've got the spatial ring, her link to Wong Mong's crew, and now a gold-level boss just materializing out of thin air. And then it hits you like a ton of bricks. Could she be the legendary Lucky Carp from your past life? The rumors come flooding back. They always said Wong Mong's team had some secret weapon, a player with such ridiculous luck they could find rare bosses and hidden treasures just by taking a walk. Back then, you blew it off as just another gamer myth. But now, looking at Black Plun, you're 100% certain it's all true. You're so lost in this bombshell realization that you're just staring at her, and yeah, she definitely notices. Suddenly, she's asking why you're looking at her like she's a ghost. Snapping out of it, you brush it off as nothing and quickly refocus on the path. But as you leave the city limits, a shady figure is spying on you both. It's a bald player, hiding behind a tree like a total creep. The scene then cuts to a whole posse of rough-looking dudes. A guy with long hair, clearly the head honcho, is bragging to his entourage of entirely bald henchmen about how he took out his own brothers to become the big shot of Sand City. He's promising them that if they stick with him, they'll all be rolling in it. Before he can finish his villain monologue, the bald spy comes sprinting back, reporting that their target has left the city, and he's with a girl. A nasty smirk spreads across the leader's face. He scoffs, thinking you're just. There's another clueless kid, easily distracted by a pretty face. Without missing a beat, he rallies his crew and orders them to move in for the ambush. Meanwhile, you're totally oblivious, laying out your terms and conditions for helping Black Plun. You tell her if the boss drops gear she can use, it's hers, but every other piece of loot belongs to you. She accepts your logic. She agrees to the deal but asks if any items for her team drop, that you'll sell them to her at a discount. You figure, hey, no problem there. With the deal struck, Black Plun says you'll head for the boss as soon as Wong Mong and the rest of the gang log back on. After walking for a bit, she has a sudden realization. She has no clue. where you're even going. It's only when you finally reveal the destination that it dawns on her. You're going to fight a gold-tier boss. She's floored. The idea is completely bonkers. You're an assassin, she's a mage, taking on a gold tier. Boss with just the two of you sounds like a one-way trip to the graveyard, but you're cool as a cucumber. You explain she's not gonna fight at all. The master plan is for you to solo the boss while she watches the fireworks from a safe distance. Even so, Black Plum thinks this is completely impossible. Just as she's about to argue, you stop dead in your tracks, sensing trouble. Without a single word, you pop your Latin image skill and vanish into thin air, leaving a stunned Black Plum standing there all alone. Meanwhile, the welcoming committee is getting closer. So, you got the Chrome Dome crew still creeping in the bushes, and their leader, oozing main character syndrome, sees Fun poof into thin air and assumes he just ditched Black Plum like a bad date. Flashing a villain of the week smirk, he tells his goons to move in and grab her.